Hello, my name is Shettley and welcome back for another episode of Ep37 as Finland. In previous episode we had the exhibition thingamajig. It gave us a bit of extra prestige and all that, which is going to be kind of handy. We did also turn Congo into a colony now, which means that they'll be in charge of doing the colonization there. I'm sure they'll probably still keep on growing the colonies, I hope anyway. But one thing that we might want to do is actually improve our relations with them. We currently have a bit of poor relations, but if we start improving on that, that shouldn't take too long. Because that is actually impacting the cohesion slightly. I mean, still growing upwards at least. But only barely. So we want to get that preferably up to like at least 50% cohesion, so the mandate would grow a little bit faster. I'm pretty sure that we will not get a second thing in the mandate though, but that's alright. But let's unpause. We did also of course lose a, I don't know, 2.5 million population or something like that, and then also decent bit of the GDP, like 13 million. But I'm sure that we'll be catching up with that soon enough, because we've got a lot of engines and telephones and of course cars, I suppose. All sort of things being made right now, which should help a lot in increasing the productivity to a degree, and also just in general the money really. That reminds me, we got some government administrations over here, which could probably get the telephones. It's going to be a little bit expensive, but the extra bureaucracy is going to be quite nice, and also a bit of tax capacity. There's also apparently insufficient construction again. How much is it? Well, I suppose, yeah, it is 130,000. Although I suppose 80,000, yeah, well, there's still 70,000 increase. But, of course, they're buying a lot of the buildings that we are constructing. So that's actually, well, it's increasing the money that we have in the gold reserves to a degree, but also, you know, slows down the accumulation of the investment pool, let's just say. But yeah, there's a lot of electric industries being built. The standard of living is still slowly rising up. For the egalitarian society, we need to standard of living of over 20. The big problem is going to be the literacy rate, though. It needs to be 90%, and I don't think we'll get to that. Oh, there we go. Also trying to pass the graduate taxation, which is now on the last stage. But we can only get one, well, we can't get a setback at this point, or it fails. So we need to get a little bit on the lucky side, admittedly. But at the same time, the percentage, so success is 36%, advance is 45%, and debate is only 9%, stall is 7%, so the odds are in our favor right now. We'll see how long that's going to last, though. Also, do we? Oh yeah, we got some more migration waves still coming in. Yeah, and all 3 of these states. We could potentially try to get some more, maybe like having people move into Ostrobothnia, Oulu would also be kind of handy. So perhaps, so we've got the electric industries in here. I think this is just a private sector building these. Could potentially get a couple over here. Get that to 9. It might reduce the profitability a little bit, but the good news is, I think we may have just become one of the leading producers of no, we're still number 2 in telephones. We're the leading producer in tanks and airplanes. And also number 2 in paper and wood, which is actually not too bad. It doesn't give us a huge amount of prestige, but it still helps. Oh, the private sector is building so many workshops in Holland, of all things. I mean, I suppose the population over there has grown to 200,000. So it's not the worst, but it's still not exactly the best location, perhaps, for the tools. But I suppose if there's need for tools, then yeah, I guess so. Also, let's go and get a couple more. Oh, there we go. Electric railways unlocked. Oh, this is going to be huge. Actually, this is going to be pretty huge. So motor industries, this is probably going to be very expensive for energy. Electricity, yeah, we need another 2,000 electricity now. But that's going to be 2,000 engines. So just like that, we don't have a shortage of engines anymore. I mean, we might still need a little bit more, but let's have a look. No, we've got 1,600 extra right now. Let's have a look at the buildings menu then. So we can go ahead and get the railways with electric trains. So at least where, well, actually that seems to be profitable pretty much everywhere. Then of course the refrigerated rail cars for fishing wharves could save us a little bit laborers. Logging, we can get the rail log carts. Might not be fully productive initially, but I'm sure that's going to be alright. And then power plants, I'm just going to use the coal power plants everywhere. There weren't too many locations that didn't already have that. And then let's have a look. Because the iron mines should probably have rail transportation. All my... Whoa, hold on a minute. Alright, we can't control most of these. Actually, oh, we don't own any of them right now, of course. Because there's the colony that controls that. Motors, I could probably go for electric engines everywhere. Also, let's get the prime electrolysis. Seem to have forgotten that one. Previously, but there we go. So that should be a decent increase. It might actually reduce the GDPs briefly. But also probably means that there's going to be a whole lot more demand for electricity now. Are we actually now one of the leading producers, perhaps, in engines, I wonder? We're number 6. Okay, so we're not quite up there yet. We need to get another 2,000 just to overtake Canada, and then Scandinavia, Austria. Okay, so the 3 through 5 are pretty close to one another. So if we were to increase the engine production a bit further, which we are going to, we should be able to then cover most of that. There we go. Then the automobiles, we are still, actually, we're still in top 10 there as well. We will be building a bit more, maybe. And the engines are at least very cheap. We've got so many automobile industries already in our capital, admittedly. But they are still very high productivity. And my goodness, right, there's 11 of them being built by someone. I think most of that is probably being built by the private sectors. Well, actually, there's 5 of them being built by us. The Metropolitan Railway. The grand opening of the Helsingfors Metropolitan Railway was received with much celebration. In the speech, the President congratulated the engineers who made this possible. So we get a railway building throughput plus 25%, and engineer pops become more loyalist, or we get more prestige. Well, we've got a fairly good amount of loyalists, so I'm going to go with the prestige. We're number 4 in terms of the standard of living. Just a little bit behind British East Africa and Germany. Scandinavia is going to be a bit of a rough one to beat, though. And the population is still increasing very rapidly. I mean, it's already 18.2 million. We've got about 11 years still to go before the end times. 3 or 10. Okay, trade units. That's, don't be ridiculous. We're going to keep the intelligentsia in the power. Or you'll have to share the power with them, rather. At least for the time. Ooh. New Granada wants trade privileges, and they allow us to invest in their nation. You know what? I will take that. I will take that. Because then the private sector is probably going to be building a whole lot in there. I mean, I do wonder, actually. So are you part of the... No, you're not part of any market. But you're part of the Russian Empire. Ah, or the... Yeah. Within their sphere of influence. Oh, well, there we go. Back to almost 120 million GDP. Oh, that didn't take too long. Do we still have 200,000 radicals? Oh, no. And so, well, we've got almost 7 million loyalists. I think it's probably not going to be much of an issue. Now, I do hope that we can get the graduated taxation passed soon enough, because that's then going to allow the lower stratas to have a bit more money to spare, which is probably going to increase the standard of living a bit. On the lower stratas, at least. The despot of St. Petersburg. Opposed to the arbitrary and illiberal rules of Russia, Church of Finland have fallen in with the anti-Russian association. You know what? Sure. You do you. Now, I'm hoping that the law will actually pass. It's going to be a close one. Okay, it did not pass yet. Half doing nothing. So, that's a agitator supporting petty bourgeoisie. We could reduce his popularity and still get the plus 5%, or we're going to... I'm just going to take the plus 10% right now. So at least the odds are much more in our favor. It's nearly 90% chance of at least getting something positive out of that on the next roll. Looks like more electric industries are being built. Oh, there we are, already 120 billion. Good, good. Now, if only the literature rate could also start increasing a bit. I mean, we could potentially switch to the private education, but that would reduce assimilation. I kind of want to keep the assimilation relatively high so we can kind of keep the game running somewhat smoothly. Unfortunately, my CPU is not exactly new. I do plan on buying a new one for EU5, but I don't have it yet. There we go, nearly 122 million GDP. The standard of living still hasn't increased all that much right now. I'm sure that it will. Especially, I reckon, once the taxation law is changed. It will probably help. Right, so the telephones are still a bit expensive. I mean, we are building a whole lot of it. We'll probably get another 5 electric industries in our capital. There's still a lot of unemployed, actually, in here, which is a bit surprising. But we can't really build anything else but factories at this point. I mean, we could build some conscription centers and all that, or just build more military in here. That probably wouldn't hurt drastically. That reminds me, though. Right, Antarctic expedition. Oh, we need 3 admirals. Ah. Oh, we got the bureaucracy for that. Let's hire some more admirals then. Get the industrialists and... I guess we'll get the... So it's a bit of a mixture. Well, 2 industrialists and 1 petty bourgeoisie. But now we should be able to send for the Antarctic expedition. Right, who are we going to send? Okay, organized and charismatic. Imposing, firebrand, explosive taste. That's probably going to be bad at the expedition. I'm going to send the... Yeah, we'll send the petty bourgeoisie in there. See how that goes. We'll try to be fairly careful with that, but... oh. Bihar mass immigration to Kuopio. Alright then. So yeah, another mass immigration. Oh, I guess that means that the old ones are starting to expire again. Yeah, there we go. A whole lot of people moving here. Kuopio is actually a pretty decent location though, because it spreads population to most of our states. Not quite to the northeast, in Kola Peninsula, but pretty much everything else gets population from it. Even over here, we are actually getting a bit of population. There's actually a lot of migration happening. Which is a bit surprising. Where are you getting the migration from? Lower Congo, Oulu, and East Karelia. I mean, sure, I guess. There is admittedly a lot of jobs opened in here. So that definitely helps. The urban centres as well. Of course, the power plant... well, they got a lot of workers in there, but they need a lot more than that. But we do also need a lot more steel. Are we actually in the top producers? We're number 9. Okay, so we need a lot more than that. I'm going to go out and... get another steel... Oh, actually, we got 2 steel mills already underway here. I'm going to get another 2 being built in Oulu. Let's keep on building. Ooh, chemical warfare. If I remember correctly... chemical warfare stuff, that's... oh, that's fertilizer input. Okay. Kill rate is increased. You know what? Perhaps we won't go for that. We could go for the... I don't know if we want to go for the flamethrowers either. I mean, it could be handy, but it's also not necessarily needed. Automobiles, we still need a lot. Also, the engine demand is now increasing. Is that because we are exporting more? Oh yeah, we're selling 8,000. Wow. Okay. But the world market still has a huge demand for engines, so it makes sense. We've got 15 being built in our capital there. That is huge. We're making 7,000 engines here per week. That's not bad. Yeah, we should be hitting 19 million probably soon enough with the immigration. Ooh, modern battle fleet tactics advance. Okay. That should give us another training, I believe. In the naval stuff. Yeah. There's a new training in there. Plus also max naval base is increased. And there's also the stormtroopers that we'll hopefully get. I don't... I'm researching the radio. We have nothing queued up, actually. Could get the conveyors, I suppose, if that's not already completed before that. Then maybe the artificial silk could be handy. Or the mechanized farming. Might reduce the labor need at farms even further. And intense wool gathering and livestock ranches. Mechanized slaughterhouses. But there's a few things in there. There's also the... Actually, let's have a look at the society. What do we need in there? Currently getting the political agitation. That gives us a bit more authority, which is not too bad. Plus another potential agitator. Is that the last? Oh, that is the last one on the level 4. Okay, well that makes sense. I guess we could give it a bit of a hand on completing that. And then we'll figure out something else after those. Probably shouldn't take too long. Oh, this got with intelligence here. I'll take another plus 15%. Now 60% chance of passing the law. There we go. So there's still 6% chance of stall. No chance of debate. So it's either advance, success, or stall. And the stall is only 6%, so that should be fine. Ah, we need a bit more bureaucracy. Did we already switch to the... yeah, I switched these to the telephone switchboard. There we go, now we've got a lot of extra, and we can also switch... Oh, those already have it. Actually, at this point, we might as well double-check that every one of them... Government administration buildings have the telephone switchboards. They do. Okay, so that is now pretty much... well, not max out, but we're getting the most out of them now. And the investment pool is definitely growing. I guess what we could also do is just get some more construction sectors. Get another +5 over here and our capital. Also, we're going to go out and toss these to the top of the list. So those will be completed shortly. That's going to be another... It's probably going to get us to around 700 construction total, which is already going to be pretty decent, I will admit. And there we go, 120, almost 124 million already. Unfortunately, the literary rate... I mean, we are now number 27, so I suppose the rate has improved slightly, or someone else has dropped it a little bit, I don't know. Standard of living, on the other hand, still hasn't really increased too much, but the population is definitely on the rise. Also, a bit more radicals, admittedly, which is not ideal. We've got 7 million loyalists, though, so I guess that's fair. And there's no advance on the expedition yet. Alright then, well, I guess we'll wait. Well, there we go, 126 million. Of course, the automobiles, or automotive industries, and the motor industries and all that, those are pretty good. And of course, also, I guess the increased construction rate does mean that we need more construction materials, which of course then kicks up those a notch as well. And overall, it does have an impact on the GDP. So that's all good. Now, our relations with our colony are slowly improving. Ooh, pack ice. Broken pieces of sea ice start to cover the surface of the water as the expedition approaches destination. Ship's hull tries to make its way through the cold mass by ramming and crushing, but the ice becomes stronger as they advance. Onwards, so we might get small peril or minor progress. Or minor peril, minor progress. Okay, we got the peril. So we're kind of stuck in the ice right now, I guess. Oh, our expedition is. Yeah, a bit more steel mills. A lot of electric industries. And more steel mills. What else do we need? I mean, those are the primary things. I guess we could use a bit more iron mines as well. It's going to queue up a few of those, so we'll get another 5 over here at Oulu. That's hopefully going to be enough to get the production increasing a bit further. And reduce the amount of stuff that we need to import from elsewhere. So the trade centers, I mean, we do have a lot of trade centers, you know. Yeah, we've got 126 and another 9 being built over here. And it's already running full capacity. Well, yeah, I suppose that makes sense. So what are we actually exporting? A whole lot of engines, automobiles, paper, telephones, furniture, and some other things as well, but those are the primary things. Icebound. We'll blast through the ice, so we'll either still be icebound, or we'll get some progress. Hey, we got some progress. There we go. Finally. Telephones are still a bit on the expensive side, but we are still building a lot more electric industries. So I'm sure that that'll be alright in the end. We might also need a bit more bureaucracy, actually, in general. We'll get another 5 over here. Or maybe we'll get another 10, actually, in our capital. We'll go out and queue up 2 of those to be built immediately. We'll get the bureaucracy staying on a somewhat higher level, because the population, of course, is increasing so much. Each million of pops that we have costs us 164 bureaucracy, so we need to increase the bureaucracy total a decent chunk here. Aha, we got the graduates. Oh wow, that is a huge amount of money. Right. What we're going to do is we're going to lower the taxes. Okay, so we're still making money. It wasn't actually exactly accurate numbers, but nonetheless, we can change that a little bit. So people should be very happy with the low taxes. Legitimacy is going to be fairly decent. Is there any more laws that we might need to pass? Or might want to pass? I mean, I suppose there's the workers' protections. Industrialists would not enjoy that necessarily, but it could be passed. Ah. So it would have, technically speaking, the same impact from the institution at least. There wouldn't be a huge amount of, or a huge risk of stall on that. That could be done. We've got the compulsory primary school, we've got the women's suffrage already. We could try to get some more of the welfare stuff, maybe the wage subsidies, but the industrialists also hate that one. There's a lot of groups that do support this, though. It would have 90% stall, though, so that's a little bit risky. Oh, there's the support for Council Republic. There's only 25%, though, so it's just the trade unions supporting that. We're not going to switch the economy system. And we're not going to switch the... I think we'll try to pass the worker protection, sure. So I guess the investment pool might start dwindling down slightly soon enough. Well, not really dwindling as much, but it won't be getting as much money, perhaps. Well, it's still growing quite a bit, though. I think we might still be... Yeah, still complaining about the lack of construction. Alright, then. Let's get another 5 construction sectors, then. But luckily we can build those all in 3 weeks and be done with it. So that's not too bad. Oh, well, there we go, 136 million GDP. I wonder if we can get to 200 million, maybe even a quarter billion before the end of the game. I mean, we've still got about 10 years to go. So 200 is probably possible. 250 might be. I don't think we'll be going much beyond that though. It's unlikely, but it's possible, I suppose. It's possible. As the money is just pooling up a little bit. There we go. That's going to increase the construction speed even further. So we will actually be losing a bit more money, but at the same time, each building that we build will be, well, most of the factories at least that we build will be purchased by the private sector anyway, so we'll actually get refunded for the most of the costs there, not actually all of it, but like most of the deficit at least will be covered easily. Still not a whole lot of iron mines. Let's go ahead and do up another 5 over here. That's going to be going up to 23 already. The population is nearly at 2 million, oh, 20 million, sorry, again. And then standard of living is now 19.9, and I mean, we're still number 4. Oh, there we go, we hit 20. Oh, and we've got the radios unlocked. So we're going to have another declare interest, and we're going to actually get some radio production. We don't actually need to have radio production everywhere, although let's actually have a look. If we get the radios, who uses that? So that's still the ledger. So that reduces the amount of services needed, I guess. But yeah, we won't necessarily have radios being produced everywhere, but now that we've got the radios being produced, what we can finally do is we're going to upgrade our infantry to potentially do mechanized, actually. Ah, right, we don't have any yet. Oh, now we do. And then the siege artillery, we could even go for heavy tanks, I guess, but we'll go with the siege artillery first. Upgrade the artillery. And the cavalry, we can't upgrade to that yet. Nonetheless, I suppose that is going to be a bit of an impact on the military itself. So it's upgrading the infantry. The lancers are still there. We'll hopefully upgrade those to light tanks soon enough. Oh, right, yeah, we're going to mechanized infantry. I forgot about that. And we could potentially go for the heavy tanks directly. But, maybe not. Oh, rapid mass immigration to West Karelia, sorry. Alright then. Well, population keeps on increasing, and the standard of living is still pretty darn good. We've got 140 million GDP already, basically. Halfway out. The expedition disembarks upon the Persian shores on the Arctic continent, is welcomed by the residents inside of a wooden hut. On the slightly snowed in, it is easily made habitable, and the crew discover ample supplies of food within. You know what, we might get a bit of peril, but we're going to make sure that future explorations will also have a bit easier time. Ooh, right, and we can declare another interest. Why should we actually do that? I'm going to go for Indochina, actually. Now, if we have a look at the power block, I'm pretty sure that there is no nations that we could even theoretically invite. Although Mauritania would be a potential. We got a bit of leverage in there. We're even getting more. What can I do with you? I could improve relations. Already got fairly good relations though, but we'll do that and then draft the treaty. You do not. Oh, hold on a minute. I've already got a declaration with you. Oh. Right, I guarantee their independence and they've given me embassy. Ah, right, so that makes sense. Well, I wonder. Actually, we're going to start funding political lobbies in there. That's going to give us even more leverage. And which should then mean that we'll be getting to, oh yeah, almost 340. That should be enough, probably, to invite them in. Well, there we go, we've got the cohesion up a little bit. So we are actually, well, it's still nearly 40 years for the next thing. It's probably not going to happen. But yeah, that's improving. So we might get another nation to join in the Trade League. And I believe that will cause them to join in. Oh, that's a lot of unemployed in there. But it might just be that most of the stuff is not really worth it. Let's actually have a look at the market. What do they need the most? Luxury furniture, so a whole lot of things. They need large numbers. They got some things in there. Actually, do they produce sulfur? No. They had sulfur in their market. They're also losing some population, so they formerly French. Oh, looks like Portugal's fighting a war against Britain. Why is this war about? Change regime in Gaza. Return Portuguese Western Guangdong, so they're taking Macau out of their hands. Transfer Lager, Colapur, and conquer Portuguese Lourenço Marques. If I remember correctly, it's somewhere down here. Oh yeah, it's down there. And then Portugal wants Bahrain. Oh, the Confederates are also helping. Regime change in Bahrain. Okay. Yes, Oman's been... Okay. It's a bit of a mess. I don't think Portugal's going to be emerging victorious from that war, unfortunately. Unfortunately for them. Hey, low progress study. There's actually no chance of stalling right now, which is very handy. We've got a whole lot of construction work going on as well. And looks like the... Oh, electricity shortage in North Bothnia. Are we... Yeah, we're getting 9 power plants in here. Well, that's probably going to be fine then. And there we go. GDP is already 140 million. It is growing very rapidly. So I do actually wonder, Cambodia, part of the British Empire. Siam is not part of anyone. Well, I suppose we could improve relations with you at least. Potentially start getting some more possible friends in here. I have played as Siam previously. It was quite a while ago though. Socialist demagogue. Okay. I don't have really option to say anything else than inspirational. Right, Mauritania. How close are you to joining our faction? 169 already. And I believe it's still growing. They would be more than willing to join in as soon as we get them to that point. We're still going to get another 40 points at least, so yeah, we should be able to invite them. Especially since the British Empire's influence is also reducing. So our advantage is actually improving more and more. Oh, Selangor has improved relations. I'm not entirely sure who that is, but I'm going to assume it's probably over here somewhere. Ah, there it is. Because our leverage is pretty small, but it seems to be improving. But yeah, if we can start getting a bit more influence down here, it could be actually handy for bringing in some more resources from Southeast Asia, especially things like silk, into our own market. Well, there we go, 20 million population, 20.3 standard of living, and we got the conveyor belt just now. So that's the assembly lines we can get into a lot of places. Also, I suppose door rollers and things like that. Oh, right, that released the door rollers. But the assembly lines, I do want to actually... Places that have power, but don't actually have a whole lot of workers here. Like, let's get the motor industries over here with some assembly lines. Might not... Actually, the productivity is going to be better. But it can generate a bit more pollution, but that's alright. So, should free up a little bit of population on some of these. Because they'll also have a whole lot of logging camps in here. Not that we need them. We could. But yeah, I suppose it's mostly a question of whether there's enough... or rather, there's not a huge amount of unemployment already. Actually go and get another tooling workshop over here. I suspect we might need... The food industries are not necessarily hugely profitable anymore. It's mostly something that you can make a whole lot of money earlier. Oh. Hey, expedition proceeds without incident. Although, looks like the peril is already at 3. And the progress, I think, is at 2. So, not the best. Hey, bastardization is spreading. So what we're getting, we're getting the political agitation and in production, so that's... Yeah, I guess we can help with that one real quick. And then I think we'll just go with the mechanized farming and the artificial silk. In military, we'll probably be getting both of these things still. But we won't have enough time to complete all the society texts, but that's alright. But I do see that we are actually out of time for this episode, so if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, get the links down in the description. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, bye-bye.